is a field of study concerned with discovering and describing the world around us by observing and experimenting. Pseudoscience is a term used to describe a claim, belief, or practice presented as scientific but which does not adhere to the scientific methods. Practice presented as scientific but which does not adhere to the scientific methods. The scientific method is an easy way to help science to help solve a problem.
There are 6 main steps to the scientific method. First, we have purpose or question. That is when you are seeing something and you start to ask the question, why is that thing doing that? How does it work? For example, when people saw the water and they said, how the rain comes to fall, what process comes behind it? Okay, the second step is
hypothesis.
Hypothesis. That's when you start like making your own solutions. You can say like, well, rain comes from the clouds, so it has to find out where the clouds come. So you start like making your own answers. That is an important part because that is where your next step is going, which is
the third is research.
Science has the particular characteristic that you have to do a lot of research. With the next step, experimentation, you have to start using that research and put it into test to know that if your hypothesis has value. If it doesn't have value, you have to just throw it away or save it for later. The fifth step,
analysis.
This one is when you take all of the information you gathered from the experiment and the research and you start to think, what does it mean? This is where you start to put the pieces together to answer your questions. Finally, we have the conclusion. That is when you put everything there, you make the reports, you make everything, you present it to people. When it's ready, you can put what does it mean, why does it work, you can explain everything you want. That are the scientific method.
Science have to be objective. This means that we have to see and accept things as they are, and objective is against our own biases, beliefs, values and preferences. Then is verified through data and our 5 senses. Also, it has to be verified through logic, evidence, and so then other scientists can study the same phenomenon and make their own conclusion and then verify. Scientific research adopts steps. So we have to have a procedure. Also, science has to be accurate. For example, a doctor can say you have a high temperature. They must say you have 47 degrees. Also, science has to have precision. They have to mention numbers and data.
Okay, now we're going to give some examples about science and pseudoscience. What is really science and what can we really consider pseudoscience? Let's start with science. When you see biology class, biology is a science, mathematics is a science, history itself is a science, because in all of that you have to give proofs if you want your data to be taken seriously. For example, you have to take a lot of the sources, secondary sources, primary sources, have an analysis of it. Biology is the same, you have to conduct a lot of experiments. You can name every science that you can consider to be traditional, and see that it has some key aspects. First, it's very formal. That means that there are a lot of experimentations, a lot of analysis, a lot of thinking into it. If it doesn't have any of those, then it's actually pseudoscience. Let's talk about pseudoscience. I'm gonna tell you some things that are pseudoscience or can be considered as pseudoscience. First, aliens. There are not really proofs of aliens. There are like minimal proof, but we can't really know if they're like outside the universe. We can only give a probability, but it's not actually proven yet. Also, the triangle pyramid. Yes, there are planes that disappear, but we don't really know why. There are some hypotheses of why that happened, but it's never been proved. All of the conspiracy theories that the man never got to the moon because of this, because of that, can be also considered pseudoscience because there's no fake proof that that is true. That is pseudoscience. Sometimes that happens because there are not a lot of resources available to do those investigations. For example, rain, we can be considered that rain 500 years ago was a pseudoscience because they really didn't explain how it came. They say that it was a god that rained all over, and so they make dances, rituals and everything, but they can explain that and it became a natural science. What is the thing of pseudoscience? It's like science but a step back, a step before getting to experiment and prove everything you have to prove to consider it a fact.
In conclusion, we need to understand the difference between science and pseudoscience because people tend to confuse them and say very silly things, like the Bermuda Triangle is scientifically proved. Also, this does that our arguments become very untrustworthy, and also we need to see pseudoscience as what really is, that is a big maybe. But we need to be careful because pseudoscience can be extremely dangerous and can fool us, making us stubborn, violent, and ignorant. Thank you.